Today I wanted to talk to you about how to tune your violin. We'll be using the Piascore Tuner Lite app. I believe you can find it on both Apple and Android devices, and I'll show you that in a minute. We're also going to be talking about the tuning pegs and how they work, and the fine tuners. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so first we'll talk about the tuning pegs. The pegs, when you're looking at the violin, are G, the G string, D string, A string, and E string. As long as your violin is strung correctly, that should be right. When you're tuning your violin, if you want to make the pitch lower, we'll loosen the string. So we will push in the peg, push it in towards the peg box, and turn the peg toward us, like this. So here's A, and then I'll push it in and turn the peg toward us. And these movements will be only very slight, and it'll make a pretty big difference. So that's how to make the string lower. But if you wanted to make the string higher, you still push it in and you turn it away from you, like this. Alright. As far as the fine tuners go, you will probably, if you have a student set up, you'll probably have 4 fine tuners. I only have one, but I can show you with this one. So this is for very minor adjustments. You use the pegs if your violin's really out of tune. If it's just slightly out of tune, you'll use your fine tuners. So here's my E, and if I wanted to make this a lower pitch, I would turn the peg, or the fine tuner, counterclockwise, and it makes the pitch lower. If I wanted to make the pitch higher, I would turn it clockwise. Pretty easy. Fine tuners are the easiest to tune with. The pegs are a little harder because sometimes they don't quite want to move. If you find that your peg is slipping and it won't stick no matter how much you push in when you're turning the peg, there is a product you can find at some music stores called Peg Dope. You can also find it online. You just put a little drop of it on your peg and it'll make it stickier. If you find that your pegs are very, very hard to turn and they're too sticky, you can use the lead tip of a pencil and just draw around where the peg goes into the peg box, and that should help a little bit. All right, let's take a look at the app. Okay, so this is the Tuner Lite app by Piascore. Open it up. So here, when you get into the app, it looks like this. To tune, we will press the tuning fork button like this, and then it should tune any note that you need. So if you play other instruments that need to be tuned, you can use this for that as well. So let's start with the G string. So I'm going to pluck the G string, and the needle, see how it goes back and forth? It is to the right. That means it's too high. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my peg because it's really high. And we wanna try and get that needle to be right in the middle. And we wanna make sure the letter says G. The note name is G. Still high. Let's try that again. Okay, now it says F sharp, which means I've gone too low. So back. Tuning with the pegs is a lot of back and forth until you hit the right spot. Once you get close, you can use your fine tuner. So now it's a little low. So it's pretty close to the middle now. If you see the green light in the middle lights up, and that's when you know that you are close, or pretty much in tune basically. So once the green light lights up, you are in tune. If you're perfectly in tune, the needle goes right to that 0. Let's look at the D string. So that's just slightly low. If I were you, I would use the fine tuner. I don't have a fine tuner for the D string, so I'm just going to use my peg. Closer. And I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it right now. And then the A string, that is high. It's to the right, so it's high. So I'm going to use my peg. Now that is A flat, so it's way too low. There we go. Perfect. And then the E string, it's just slightly low. I'm going to use my fine tuner since I have one for that one. Slightly high. Oh, almost there. There it is. So that's how you use this tuner to tune your violin. Things to remember are to make sure it is on the correct letter for the string that you are tuning. G, D, A, or E. If it's a sharped note, like if it's an F sharp, that's below G, so it's too low, so you need to tighten the string till it hits G. And if it's a flat note, like an A flat, that's also too low. If it's a B flat, that is higher than an A, so that's too high. So make sure you really pay attention to that note, and then make sure you're looking at the needle and seeing whether it's to the right. If it's to the right, it is sharp and too high, you need to lower it. If it's to the left, it's too low, you need to raise the pitch. All right, now for some tips for when you are tuning your violin. If you're tuning with the pegs and you're trying to tighten the string, it might be hard to just go ahead and turn it away from you. It might be a little difficult to do that. If you start by turning it towards you a little bit first and then turning it away from you, it'll be easier to turn. So if you're having trouble making the pitch higher using the pegs, make it lower first and then go higher, like this. Okay, and then get close enough to where you want your pitch to be, and then use the fine tuner to do the rest of the tuning. Another thing to think about whenever you're tuning your violin is the position of your bridge. Okay, so the part of the bridge that's closest to the tailpiece should be vertical. Should be straight up and down. The bridge is not glued on, it's held on the violin by the tension of the strings. So you need to be very careful with this and only move it if it looks like it's really out of place. If you feel uncomfortable moving it and you're afraid your bridge is going to fall, you can take it to a music shop and they will do it for you, or have your parents do it. Mine looks pretty good, but yeah, I kind of close one eye and look at it and make sure it's vertical. The tension from the strings, if you're tightening the strings a lot, it can cause the bridge to tilt this way because the strings are moving this way to get tighter. So it could start tipping this way. You just want to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, that's really all you need to know about tuning the violin. I'd love to hear your questions. Thank you. Bye.